Welcome everybody to It Starts Now, the happy hour of finance and business. Once again, my name is Stanley, and today I'm gonna discussion on how we got started within our first year in creating this show, and how we were fortunate to have the right people that came along to really help us and get us started. But one of the key things that I realized when I was starting a business, I got a lot of requests and questions from friends and families on how you got started. How were you able to learn the information that you learned? How did you really navigate through all the technical terms and technical equipments that we had to learn and pick up on? And when I came to realize that in our community, we don't really tend to pass down information. Some of us try to consume it and then keep it to ourselves. And that's why there's a pocket of few people that really understand the information or really can grasp the idea of starting a business. The reason why we're starting today and wanted to share the information is because we get a lot of questions about how did we get started with the show, how did you learn the techniques, and what we had to overcome, like what were some of the challenges when starting off. I already left one career where I was managing a group of people, and then now I'm in a career where I'm actually owner-operator. When you go from that transition, it's really not too much because you understand operations. But if you're not an ops person, or if you're not familiar with how to run something, then it can be a little bit challenging. It can be a little bit scary. Initially, you get an idea, and the first thing you want to do is get started, right? And that's why we named the show It Starts Now. But the reality behind It Starts Now is just because you have an idea doesn't mean that you can execute it right away. First thing we try to figure out is, what is it that we wanted to talk about? What is it that we wanted to share? What information we wanted to get out there? So once you have that information, like instead of starting with how you're gonna do it, try to start with what you need, right? What do you need? All right, so some people will start out and say, all right, how I'm gonna get this equipment or how I'm gonna do this. Sometimes you don't have to worry about the how. The how is gonna play itself out. Life has a tendency to bring people that you need. So start out with, what do I need? All right, what type of equipment do I need? What type of mic, camera? What type of partner do I need? Okay, or what type of help do I need? Do I need a camera crew? Do I need a PR person? What are these things that's gonna really execute my plan to make it successful, right? And when you have a great team like I do, it's just it makes it a lot easier, because then they'll pitch in ideas and solutions, and then the conversation doesn't stem from no longer of how, it comes of what solution is the best solution, because you're on the concept of what do we need. So you're moving a lot faster. You're moving at a better pace. From there, we had to learn a lot of the technical aspect of it. So we went from having no knowledge or experience on how to use the cameras, the lightings, and the equipment and the softwares, to now like we're really gearing ourselves up to the point where, okay, all right, I can YouTube most of this, right? But then there's another level. And that's what I came to realize. So once we got to the point where we familiarize ourselves with the equipment and how to utilize the equipment and the software, now we figure out, okay, that's a little bit time consuming, and that's not our point, is to master it. So we had to get some help from the people that really are experienced. So then that's when we kind of outsourced that material piece, and we figured out it freed us up to do a lot more, because now we can focus on engagement piece, like who we're gonna bring in, how we're gonna set up the studio, and then we just started moving from there. When you realize, once you start moving at a certain pace, momentum starts to pick up. It's like a snowball effect. It starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger, because everybody starts to understand what role they play and how they can make it more effective. So that way we can maximize our effort and get the best results out of what we want to do. So that was another key thing for us, is really progressing in a good way. The other thing is learning the business side of things. Okay, how does the show like how do we syndicate some of the show? Okay, how do you monetize the show? How do you get your intellectual property, protect everything that you're creating? How do you get people that want to invest, right? And let's say a group of people want to invest in your show. Is it wise to get investment right now at this stage? It may not be the wise thing to do because you don't have any collateral, anything of weight for you to do a proper exchange. Now, if you get somebody that's willing to invest on the early stages and you need the money to expand, and that's one thing. But if you don't need that money right away and you can continuously grow, then I think that's more of a positive for you. So when the right investor come along, they're not taking a lion's share because you don't have a lot to offer, right? But when you have a product and you have a proven product and it's providing a service within that product and you have a good business model, then it's a lot easier for you to dictate the terms of agreements. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but if you have further questions, just let me know in the comments and I can always go through that. But the premise behind it is really more, how much can you keep going before you can share the pie, right? You want to have at least enough on your side before you can go ahead and try to. It's just like, if you really think about it, it's just like having if you have you're getting a home from a hard money lender, right? Or you're trying to build something from scratch from a hard money lender. They're not going to give you everything at once. Let's say the property or the investment that you're looking for simple math, you're going to get $100,000. They're not going to give you $100,000 up front. They're going to give you probably like 25 and see if you can complete phase one of the property. The phase one of the property could be just basic framework, but they want to see that you execute on that before they give you more money. So there's the same concept reverse. Before you can allocate, shares to people, you want to know how much can you maintain at first before you start divvying up to different people. So from that stage, we start to realize that, okay, now is getting the right people on board to interview, the right people to give the information that's going to be shared within the community, that's going to inspire the community to grow and become knowledgeable when it comes to people out there that have good ideas, that executed on those good ideas, that have a story to share, and that are successful in the process. And sometimes we miss out the meat and potato in between. The people that we're bringing on board, they can share that meat and potatoes of the sorrows and the setbacks and the things that they had to overcome. And that way you can have a better idea when you go tackle something. Like, okay, there's gonna be a time period, there's gonna be a struggle period, there's gonna be an overnight period. There's some people that they grind, and then boom, out of nowhere that night before, and they just skyrocket. So you don't know what's gonna impact your business or how successful it's gonna be. So you have to be prepared for anything. Sometimes sharing or gathering the information from what these people are sharing will better help you out when you're starting. So that was our goal. Our goal is to bring the right information to the community and to help the community to grow. The other thing is, once we got to that point where we realized the type of people we wanted on the show, we came to realize that we had to find a way to brand our show. And branding is another form of business that you have to get familiar with, and with marketing. How are we going to market it, right? So instead of saying how again, we went from the what we need to market. Do we need Instagram? Do we need social media? Do we need merchandise? Do we need certain things that we could feel that we can brand it in a certain way, so the name and can be out there with the same image, right? So we have the slogan that trademarks, and then we have the actual logo that's trademark as well. And we can cross utilize those two, right? We could either use the slogan or we could use the logo, but we wanted to make sure everything was trademarked and up and running, so that way we could utilize the brand however we wanted to. I hope that I was able to share some of the things that got us started and that we had to learn along the way to get us going. But the journey is a wonderful journey, because you start to realize that you're learning more from the people around you. You're learning more from the situations that you encounter and how to handle it better. And then you get a lot of feedback. So one of the greatest things is the feedback loop, where everybody just share opinions, suggestions on how to get better and how to improve. And sometimes we get feedback loop from the people that's the guests that's been on, because they share the feedback that they receive from their business and how it can be incorporated into our business, on how can we utilize it best, right? So these are the things, the simple fundamentals that you learn within these walls, because when you have these private conversations or intimate conversations, when the camera is off and everybody feel comfortable, they share their ideas, they share their vision, right? And that's a powerful thing, because people are putting down their guards and they putting down their walls just to share their ideas and dreams to you. That's a lot of trust. And that's a lot of faith in what you're doing, right? So it motivates us to continue to do the right thing, because we feel like we're on the right path. But to end this, I just want to thank everybody, and I hope we answer most of the stuff. We're going to continue having conversations like this, where we can share business suggestions, business tips on how to get started. We are basically in like a incubator accelerator type of program right now. It's been beneficial. There's a lot of positives here, but we definitely will want to continue to grow and then expand into other avenues, into other places. But if you want to start off, these are one of the best places to start off, when you have these incubators or accelerators programs where they can help you, and you could piggyback and learn from different peoples in here, because they all have entrepreneurship spirit. They don't mind sharing ideas. They don't mind sharing suggestions. You see how they operate. And then, I would suggest run a lean operation, but you do what's best for you, right? And you structure it the way you want to structure it. And that's the big difference. And a lot of times we confuse standard operating procedures with job functions. It's two completely different things. A job function is what you're hired to do. The standard operation procedures is the process of how you go about it, right? We have to put processes in place to see how we're going to go about executing certain things. And we'll continue to learn and continue to grow and continue to get better. But that's because of you guys and the feedback loop and the support system that you guys been sharing. And my name is Stanley. It's been a pleasure having this conversation with you guys. I hope it was an intimate one. Please share your comments below. Give me as much feedback as possible. If you need me to answer anything in specific, just place it down in the comments below. I would love to do that. Please share, subscribe, and I appreciate you. Have a good night.